Yo, what's going on, Moses? Your boy Huncho. Back again with another recap for you guys. I'm going to be going over the trades that we took on Thursday and also on Friday. So, just going to show you guys the levels I was looking at and why we took the plays that we took. Alright, so let's go ahead and get right to it. So, the first play we took was a 733 puts. This was around, this was within the first 10 minutes of market open on SPY. And one of the things I tell people is, if you have a plan in pre-market, whether if that setup comes within the first 15 minutes or at market open, or within the first hour or in the afternoon, just take it. Just take what you say. You know, you're gonna play. Okay, this is why it's important to have a plan and have an idea of what you're gonna be looking for before market opens, so that when you see it, you just are faithful to the plan and have basically a plan on both ends. If it becomes invalidated, on what to do. If it pays, on what to do. All right. So that's how I that's what I did. Basically, I was looking for something and I took it. So let me read to you guys what I was looking for. So I said I was gonna be looking for another rip at open, above pre-market low. I meant to put above pre-market low. I don't know what I said about a 738 zone here as well. And if we hold nicely, this can be a good entry to fill the gap. Then we can see 743. All right. I'm gonna wait for a VWAP flush to jump in if we just rip again. A dump here. I'll wait for a pullback and reject under 738 zone to jump in puts. Okay. Very clear. Use levels to guide and avoid chop. All right. Now, there's two things that I posted here. This is why it's important to read the tweets and understand my style. You can't just focus on just chasing alerts. I know a lot of people like to do that, and it's more easy. It's just less work. You're not gonna get very far if that's your method. Okay. I'm just telling you that because there's going to be a loss. There's going to be an alert that you chase. There's going to be a loss, and then you're just going to be done for because you don't even know how to manage it. You don't even know what to do. You're just going to let it ride to zero, and you're going to eventually just end up around the same cycle, just blowing accounts, not even knowing what's going on. Okay, so make sure you don't do that and actually collect the information, and especially what's given to you by other experienced traders, whether it be someone like me or many people who are way more experienced than me, and they can definitely give you a lot of good advice. So 738 zone here, okay? Though I posted the levels, right? We were sitting within the 738 key zone. This is a mid range. Whenever we're sitting within the mid range here at 738, I'm looking for a direction, a break, or hold on either side. If we end up losing this area, then this is going to be my area to play with. If we held above here, then this is going to be my area to play with. Okay, it's not about me saying, "Oh, we're gonna rip or we're gonna pump." All right, I said we're gonna be looking for a rip at open because that's what we have been doing throughout the week is having rips at open, whether it be a short to pop, whether it be a continuation. I was expecting it because we were holding this area of support. Now, if we were under here, that's to be different. But if we were holding it, I was expecting some form of pump. All right, that pump. I didn't think there was any pump, but that's why we have a dump here. If we lose the 730 key zone, then we have a bearish plan. And I said a 730 key zone, a reject under it to jump into puts. Jump into puts. That was my plan. All right. Now, here's another thing that gave me guidance. Okay, the VIX. Look where the arrow is pointed at. Okay, this area right here. Right, VIX is a tool I use to be able to give me intel on where there could potentially be spikes that could signal a flush on SPY. And this is why at the beginning of the week I said, I'm look. It's time for a pullback. I even gave the post I made that this is why I was going to be bearish this week. I was going to be looking for a downside, and yeah, we have literally dumped since Monday. So look, we started at 748 all the way down. We even retested all the way down to around 728, and then we had this crazy crazy candle on Friday down to 716. So right, we saw a lot of downside this week. So this will also gave me the conviction that we were going to see some form of some more downside because if we look at the VIX, all right, let's go on 26 here. Okay, look, all right, so look at this area here, the 726. My bad, on 726. I mean that's the date. Okay, on Thursday. So it's the 1787 here. All right, on VIX, we have these levels here. Now, when it comes to VIX, right, the levels aren't as you know to the penny. You're not always gonna get it, but it's more about areas. Okay, So whenever we're around this area, what I'm going to be looking for is moves, these spikes to indicate me, okay, there's going to be some form of flush on spot. Look at this. Okay, look at this area, spikes, and look what happened here, spike. All right, and then look, you guys can see we have these spikes. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys some more. All right, okay. We go back. You see this area, 1787, 1743, spike. Look, 1787, spike. Okay. So these are all important areas. Look at this. Spikes, spikes, spikes. All right. You guys get the picture. Okay. So these are areas that I'm looking at, areas of interest. Okay. All right. So these are important areas. If you guys see after the spike, look at 2067. You guys see that? So these areas are, they give me confidence to get in these type of plays, fellas. All right. So make sure you mark these levels if you guys want to, or simply just spend time on the charts and mark them yourselves. But yeah, like look, you could pause this video, you could take a picture of it, mark them yourself. But yeah, that's what helped me go for puts on Thursday. Let's all go ahead and look at the 5 minute real quick. All right, so here we go. All right, let's get into the exact details of this trade. Okay, so 738. All right, we broke under, we ripped instead of the pump, we got the flush, and look what happened. The second candle retested, rejected. Okay, look at this, perfect. All right, look at that. So there we go. Okay, we got the reject. This gave us the question entry of the trade. It's a low risk entry, a rip above with a, obviously validated the trade. Okay, cool, fine. And also, if you look at it, all right, we're under areas like sorry, this is would it be accurate here? Let's mark this. Okay, pre-market low. Okay, so there's two indicators here, right? That's giving us the conviction to enter this trade. Okay, we got pre-market low, and then we have the key zone. Okay, you see? So we're under pre-market low. We're under the key zone. Okay, this is signaling me a breakout. This is giving me the the guidance that SPY's gonna want a move to the downside. We got weakness. We have you know sitting in an important area on VIX. All right, I took the trade. Okay, and I didn't think it was gonna. I didn't know it was gonna be that aggressive, but this ended up going over 400%. So this was a massive play. All right, very simple. These are the plays I like taking. Very very slippery. It just fell like a falling knife all the way down to 729. So yeah, I ended up cutting the trade right around 733 around here. My last runner, because obviously it was just signaling a reversal here. We ended up consolidating around this area. Not much going on, but this 731.67 was an important key pivot. As you guys can see, we were holding up pretty well. So yeah, it was a one and done, fellas. That was how I took the trade, right? Just using my levels and just taking good setups. All right, so let's go ahead and go in the next day here. All right, let's look at what was the IWM play. All right, let's 7 6. Okay, there we go. IWM. Sorry about the fellas. All right, let's go look at IWM. All right, so every morning, fellas, what I do is this. So people say, why didn't I trade SPY? Why didn't I, look at anything else? Okay. Now what I do is, whenever every morning there's three tickers that I look at. I look at SPY. All right. I didn't like where SPY was at. We're in the mid range. For me to really be looking to take a good play, I need this to flush down here, and I didn't like the setup here. We had a lot of resistance going on here. This is not giving me a good setup here. There was definitely calls did pay, of course, cool. Could have grabbed calls right here. This would have paid, but just not my setup. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It was sitting there. So yeah, I wasn't looking at playing SPY. QQQ. QQQ was in a good spot because look, we're sitting at a key pivot. Boom. 703.97. We moved to the upside, and then 709. I mentioned calls above here. Look at that printer. Look, even retested. Could have even taken another trade here. Boom, retested. And look at the zone. Rejected out of these areas. Perfect. I love QQQ setup. I look at them, I mark my levels, and whichever setup that looks good in the morning, that's what I play on. IWM, perfect, same thing. We were sitting right here at 295.73, perfect setup here. Okay, this is why I was looking at this level. I love it when it opens near supports because it gives me indication. If we hold, I'm going in. I'm going in for the upside. If we flush under, I'm looking for a retest, and then looking for puts. Boom, quick. Right? These are the type of setups I like looking at when they're sitting at key pivots at open, and we can get a good quick play when the market is most volatile. All right. So look what happened here. All right. I said an IWM. Let's see. I did mention I made a post on Twitter about if we don't get the rip like at open, I was gonna be looking for a morning flush for when I mean my morning flush is when price goes down and holds pre-market low or key pivot. So we had pre-market low down here. Let's mark it real quick. Pre-market low. All right, this was pre-market low here, and then we had the key pivot at 295.73, and then we swept. We bounced out above both of these levels. That gave us the conviction to take this play. Perfect. Look what happened. All right. So we have this nice zone here. Okay, pre-market low and key pivot. Good support here. Look how we held up. I took the trade, and we ripped at 940. We were already up a good. How much were we up there? Let's get the play real quick. Yeah, a good 40%. Look at that. And we even hit 70%. Held this trade through. Then we got another ripper. And then this ended up going over 150% here. I mean, 200% actually. Yeah, it was our majority at like 150% there. But yeah, this ended up paying really nice. You guys can see a lot of you guys like this play. This was a really good play. Just to come out very simple. These are the type of plays that I like taking, fellas. That's me. All right. So you know, a lot of times because of these two plays, I really got confidence in just learning to say no to the plays, to the setups I don't like, because sometimes we feel like we have to take a trade, we have to, it's now or never. It's important, guys, to learn to just step away. If you don't see what you like or what you are comfortable entering, you're playing with your money. And look, you guys, a lot of people, I'm assuming that you guys still have jobs. Imagine how long it takes for you to get that amount of money that you're literally just allowing to sit fluctuating in a 0 day expiration, right? You know, and it took you a while to like get that hard-earned money. Look, fellas, don't play with your money, all right? Don't play with it. Respect it and be wise with it. That's something that really hit me these past 2 days. I was like, okay, let me not play with my money. Let me be serious about it. Let me respect it and only right use it for high quality setups and in moments where I'm more confident and comfortable executing plays in, okay? Because that's what's going to give you success in the long term, because you're going to be only on serious mode. You're not going to take lottos, you're not going to be gambly. You're not going to be like, oh, okay, let's see if this hits. No, no. You're going to take high quality setups. And this right here, fellas, is what has brought me success, is just marking levels of interest, areas where I've seen, and it takes a while, guys. You guys have to sit on the charts. You guys have to go in the 30-minute time frame, the 15-minute, and mark these areas. Look at this. All right, you guys have to go. You gotta go here. You gotta spend time on the charts and really just take the time to mark these areas. So once the market opens, you got context. You got a blueprint. All right, so yeah, fellas, that's really what gave me the intel to take these plays. They were really good plays, baggers. If you guys have any questions, make sure to leave a comment below. I'll read the comments or tag me wherever this is going to be posted. And yeah, fellas, I'll see you guys on the next one. Let's have another week. Peace.